This is one of the most popular new shoes of 2025, and I'm not totally sure why, but in today's video, we're gonna find out. So inside this box is a pair of shoes that people seem to be losing their minds over. I mean, the amount of interest in this pair of shoes, a shoe that I didn't even realize released, is kind of off the charts. And so I had to grab it for myself, and so I bought it off GOAT for resale. A pair of Nike, what'd you call these, clogs? For resale. To be fair, I mean, I bought Crocs for resale, so it's not unheard of. It's just a pair of shoes that I wouldn't have thought would have been as popular as they seem to be. So I'm excited to actually check this out, see what the hoopla is about. So here we go. We got the box. Unfortunately, a little bit dinged at the top, but that's okay. I don't care about the box, I care about the shoes. Now I grabbed a size 9, which is my true size right there. Without further ado, well, I guess I should tell you guys what the colorway of the shoe is. Green stripe black volt, and it is the Nike ReactX Rejuve8. So let's do it. Let's dive into it. Here we go. The GOAT card thing, and then the shoes. These bright green foam clogs, which are actually significantly softer in person than I thought. Now I went with green because I thought green was the most interesting color and honestly it looked really good in the thumbnail, but I feel like green is one of those colors that is not as easy to rock as like the basic black one or the gray one or anything like that, but I don't regret the choice. I'm just, I don't know exactly when I'm gonna wear this shoe. Just because of how crazy it is. But I do plan to rock this for the next couple days to give you guys, you know, a full in-depth review of how the shoe feels on foot, how it is rocking the shoe for an entire day or multiple days on end, and let you know whether this is worth your money, because I think the retail price is not crazy. I think it's like 70 bucks or something like that. I paid like 116 for these, but they do feel a lot softer in person than I thought. Kind of like the original foam runners, not the newer foam runners, like the Arrowrats. Those felt softer than the newer foam runners. These kind of feel like that. Softer than Crocs too. I don't know where my Crocs are, but they definitely feel softer than Crocs. Interesting, and they've got a rubber outsole, which I didn't expect. I thought it was just gonna be all foam. So I'm interested to try these. They've also got more weight towards the bottom than I thought. There's a lot of things I'm learning about the shoe now that I have them in hand. I also, one last thing, the color kind of fades from a light green at the top to a darker green at the bottom. I thought that was just shadows in pictures, but it turns out that's actually the paint. That's cool. I dig them. The Nike ReactX Rejuve8 is a recovery clog made up almost entirely of ReactX foam. It obviously has some foam runner inspiration, I think that's a given, but it's still a pretty unique and decent looking pair of shoes. Also, just gotta say, don't love the name Nike ReactX Rejuve8 with an 8 at the end. Not the cleanest or prettiest way to spell rejuvenate, or even just name a shoe, but I guess it gets the job done. The Rejuve8 released earlier this year and is available in 6 different colorways currently, all for a retail price of $70 each. Well, I guess available is kind of a loose term. They've all released and can be purchased for retail in some sizes. Most sizes in all the colorways have completely sold out. That being the case, I've made sure to leave affiliate links to this shoe in the description below and through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. Also, before I forget, I also just launched the second core badge for the March Madness Air Jordan 12 Flu Game giveaway, so if you want to grab that, it's in the description below just above the affiliate link for this shoe. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. You need all 4 badges and a completion badge, so technically 5 badges. And for the Fowler fam and Seth supporters on core, they also get automatically entered to this giveaway, plus entered for this month's APTHCRY prize pack. Last month, we actually gave away a Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Medium Olive and a Travis Scott Field Jacks to 2 different winners. So if you want to enter for this month's giveaway, again, download the next core badge, or I guess not download it, redeem it. Whatever, you just click it. But getting back into the Rejuve8s, I've been wearing this shoe for the last few days, and I'm actually pretty impressed. Way more than I ever expected. In fact, let me show you guys a clip from when I first tried these shoes on. All right, so I got a new pair of clogs to show you. I know you're a clog fan like myself. Oh, you know what? Ooh, shoot, I can't show you these yet. These are upcoming APTHCRYs. Stay tuned. But today I'm gonna be rocking the Nike ReactX Rejuve8s. Pretty interesting name. What are your first impressions?
Interesting color too.
Right? Oh, I picked the color. That was my choice. Yeah.
Well, they're cool. I thought they were sneakers in my peripherals, so they're kind of neat.
They're kind of like foam runners, except Nike. Yeah. I'm also rocking the upcoming APTHCRY Air Max Stay socks, dropping this Friday on APTHCRY's website, and we're also doing a pop-up shop at Takeout NY this Saturday, the 22nd, so stop by from 12 to 2 p.m. in, I think it's the Bronx. But I'm gonna throw these guys on feet, see how they fit, see how they feel, see if they're true to size, because I haven't actually tried these guys on yet. I've been excited about it, and I haven't had a chance to actually feel them on foot. All right, so first impressions, oh, very soft. Very soft. I do want to compare these to like foam runners and Crocs and stuff like that later on in the video, but I mean, so far, pretty soft underfoot. Very squishy, sort of responsive, surprisingly. Yeah, and fit-wise, I'd say true to size. Like there's like exactly enough room.
with these socks on. I wouldn't wear them without socks though, personally. I know I own a sock company, so I'm gonna say it anyway, but still, I probably wouldn't wear these without socks. How do you feel about them on foot?
I think they're cool.
Would you like, do you feel like these are cooler than Crocs? Like if I pulled up in these and we weren't dating yet, we weren't married yet?
Yeah, I personally just don't like that duck bill shape on a Croc. That's just my personal preference.
And these don't really have that.
Right. So again, I know a lot of people think they're cool. It's just it's purely personal preference. But
yeah.
So I like that these don't really have that. They kind of have more of a more narrow silhouette.
All right, so give me a rating out of 10, just in general for these compared to just like footwear.
Okay, 7.
Okay, that's better than I thought. So these are up there with like Jordan 4s for you, like the ones I just reviewed.
Well, I'm rating them as like an for if I'm rating all the slides, and in my opinion, all slides are way below sneakers.
Okay, so that 7's not a fair rating then.
Like all sneakers are 5 and above, and
Okay.
then all slides are 5 and below. I'm personally not a slide person, so
Okay.
that's why I feel like that's an unfair question for.
Okay, fair enough. We'll go with a 7 for slides.
But out of all slides, I think they're cool slides.
I mean, they're not even slides, they're clogs technically.
Clogs, they're cool clogs.
All right, well with that very complicated rating out of the way, let's get back to the studio.
So the Nike ReactX Rejuve8 fills a space in Nike's lineup that's previously been empty. The Rejuve8 is Nike's latest answer to Crocs and the foam clog trend, and while yes, Nike is definitely late to the game, I think this pair is actually one of the best options on the market. The design of the Rejuve8, while not groundbreaking, is still pretty great. And again, while I don't like the name Rejuve8, it does make sense because this is a recovery clog, it's supposed to rejuvenate your feet, so I get the reason behind it. The entire upper of this foam clog is made up of ReactX, which feels pretty amazing underneath your feet, and also pretty decent around the rest of your foot, even though you're not putting pressure on it the same way you put pressure on the midsole of the shoe. And like most other foam clogs, the thickness of the foam varies depending on the part of the shoe that you're looking at. So for example, the midsole, super thick, the upper, pretty thin, especially around the ankle area. Like this thinner ankle area, the rest of the top of the shoe, specifically over the top of your foot, is made up of that same thinner foam with these punched out holes, or I guess molded in holes for breathability. Now this area is still soft, but it does offer some containment around the top of your foot and does a good job of keeping your foot from sliding out, both in the front of the foot and also towards the heel. Honestly, when it comes to the top of the shoe, it feels pretty similar to the foam runners. There's less foam on the top of your foot, but the actual feel on top of your foot is similar. The side of the shoe has a rib texture, which gives this shoe its waviest feature. I don't know if you guys like what I did there, but I thought it was pretty clever. I love this part of the shoe. I think it's my favorite detail. It gives the shoe a very unique aesthetic that differentiates it from other clogs. On this particular colorway, which the more I look at the other colorways that are available, I think this is my favorite colorway. You've got this green volt towards the top of the shoe that sort of fades into a darker green as you move down on the sneaker and through the ribs. It definitely looks like it's painted on. Like I don't think you can mold this into the actual foam, at least not the fade that they have here, but either way, it's cool. I really like it a lot. On the midfoot of the lateral side, you've got this glossy black Nike swoosh, which is one of the only 2 details that were added to the foam after it was molded. The second, of course, being the rubber outsole. And then on the medial side of the shoe, you've got a debossed, much smaller Nike swoosh. Now, initially, I thought that I would prefer this simpler side of the shoe more just because I like foam clogs being pretty simple, but I do like the contrast that this black swoosh provides. It's pretty nice, and I definitely prefer this color, at least the black Nike swoosh, to the silver Nike swoosh that you get on the gray colorway. It just pops more in this colorway, which I really like. Moving inside the shoe, like most other foam clogs, as you would expect, this doesn't have its own separate insole. Instead, it's just more foam. It's also got the words Nike ReactX debossed into it, and it's also sort of got this like oval ripple texture, which mirrors what's going on the outside of the shoe, which I really like. Now, it definitely won't give you any sort of like underfoot massaging like Crocs have or like what the Yeezy foam runners have, but it is a nice visual detail. Moving around to the heel of the shoe, all the waves that kind of come from the sides of the sneaker all connect in the back. They sort of follow the shape of the shoe, which I really like. And then towards the top of the heel, you've got this vertical Nike swoosh, which we don't see a lot. Now, actually, speaking of the shape, these shoes look a lot like the Merrell Hydro Mocs, I think is what they're called. It's a pretty similar aesthetic, but this shoe definitely is more comfortable than those shoes. But I will say, I think I like the shape of those shoes better. That being said, the Nike ReactX Rejuve8s definitely have a sleeker and faster look than most other clogs like Crocs and foam runners, which are much chunkier. And while I prefer chunkier clogs overall, I really don't mind this thinner look. Then moving down on the shoe, you get to this pretty thick midsole, which because the shoe is all one piece of foam, you can't really tell where it starts and where it stops. It seems to start like right about here on the shoe, so you do get a lot of foam underneath your foot, which is very nice and feels very soft. Is that right? Maybe it's a little bit lower. Maybe on this like 1, 2, that third rib. right there. That seems to be where it starts. It feels amazing underfoot. It's very soft and very plush. Definitely softer than regular Nike React, as you would expect from Nike ReactX, which is a softer foam in general. It's super squishy, super responsive, and I just really like the way that it feels. It makes sense that this is a recovery clog because it's a very soft, very pillow-like feeling. Now, unlike the Crocs, the Merrells, or the Yeezy foam runners, the Rejuve8s come with a rubber outsole. This outsole provides not only good traction or decent traction, but also sort of acts like a shank plate, which gives you a bit of spring in your step and also prevents the clog from being completely bent in half like those other shoes can be. The traction pattern on the shoe are these sort of square lugs, and then you've got this sort of radial pattern emanating out from the midfoot of the shoe in the Nike swoosh. And like I said, it's fine when it comes to traction. It's not like amazing in wet weather, but you probably shouldn't be wearing these in wet weather anyway because your feet will get wet. Also, looking at the rubber used on the outsole, it seems like Nike used their recycled material, which gives it this cool speckled look, which I'm not mad at. But at this point, I really want to compare the Nike React Rejuve8s directly to the foam runners and the Crocs side by side to see which pair is most comfortable. So with that being said, let's head back out to the deck.
All right, so now that we know the sizing and we've gone through a main review of the shoe, I do want to go through just comfort compared to some of the other shoes that you might be familiar with, like Crocs or foam runners, or I want to throw in a wild card, the Way of Wade Rock shoes, which are 3D printed, but not like the good kind of 3D printed, like the kind that's really stiff, like not like Zellerfelds or the new APTHCRY slides that are coming out soon, not slides, clogs, which are coming out soon. Let me compare these first, just because this is just a wild card. Let's just throw it on foot. Let's see if it rocks. Ooh. Yeah, it's night and day. I don't even want to compare these. That's just, ugh, yuck.
Well, they live up to the name.
They do live up to the name, you're right about that. Okay, let's try these on compared to, let's go with Crocs first, because I feel like that's what most people have. One thing I will say about the Crocs that I really like is that there's not so much of a back, so it's a lot easier to slide your foot in, and if you want to, I don't know, I've never had trouble with Crocs sliding off. I think that is a plus, the actual shape of the shoe. Now I will say comfort-wise, these are way softer. The Nike ReactX Rejuve8s, way softer. Visually too, which one do you prefer?
The Nikes? I like the Nikes, yeah.
I would agree. The Crocs are also, they're not as soft. I do like the fact they don't have a back, and I like the fact that they have this sort of massaging texture on the bottom of your foot, but overall, these are way more comfortable. I'd pick these any day for comfort, like for traveling, for flights, things like that. Nike React Rejuve8s. Actually, how do you think you spell it?
Spell what?
Rejuvenate. But it's not spelled like the regular.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint.
G instead of a J?
No, there might be a number in the name.
Like 8?
Yeah, you got it. There you go.
That's the only one.
Rejuve8. Really ran out of ideas with the naming scheme, it looks like Nike did. All right, okay, let's throw on the Yeezy foam runners to compare side by side. This one I think is gonna be an interesting comparison because these feel really soft, and I feel like these are gonna be the closest comparison to these of any shoe that I have or have tried. Well, there is a small difference between these two shoes right off the bat. This one has a rubber outsole, so it keeps it a little bit stiffer, like a bit bouncier than the foam runners. Like the foam runners, you can bend like anywhere in the shoe, like in the middle. You can't do that with these. I mean, my foam runners are really worn in, so they do feel a tad softer, but there's less support. Like I can actually feel each one of these grooves in the foam runner. Like I feel like I'm almost in barefoot shoes with a little bit of cushion. These ones feel more like actual shoes. And I think overall, I guess I would go with the Nikes. The main reason, and this is a reason that I don't think anyone or everyone will have. So the Yeezys have this texture on the inside, and I can already feel it like pulling on my socks, like getting stuck on my socks. These ones don't have that, and while yes, they are a little bit stickier on your socks than like a regular pair of shoes, they're not gonna pull my socks apart like these ones probably would. And the top isn't as comfy. I think I go with the Nikes, comfort-wise. Purely comfort-wise, I'd go with the Nikes. Visually, I think I still prefer the foam runners. Out of these two, which one do you prefer?
I mean, I would agree with that assessment without actually trying them on.
Yeah.
I feel like the Nikes even look more comfortable.
I think they are. Like overall, I know that they're not as like soft. I'd say they're about as soft underfoot. Like it's really close. It's really, really close.
Well, soft doesn't always mean comfort.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And then you want to have a little stiffness for longevity.
Yeah.
So it doesn't pack out.
You're right. That's a good call. These ones definitely have packed out because I've worn these so much. And these ones are softer than some of the newer foam runners too. Like some of the newer foam runners got a bit stiffer. They're not using the algae foam like these ones did. Yeah, I'd probably go Nike Rejuve8s, honestly, which is crazy to say. But now it makes more sense why people like these shoes so much because they are crazy comfy.
I've been really, really impressed with the Nike React Rejuve8s, and now I kind of get why these shoes are so popular. Obviously, a lot of the reason does have to do with the hype, which is probably why they're sold out, but genuinely, I think it's a really decent recovery clog. Probably one of the best that I've tried, and definitely one of the softest clogs that I've tried. I can't speak to longevity because I've only worn these for about, 3 or 4 days, but I will say that so far, so good. It's very soft on foot, it looks pretty good, and if you can find it for $70, I say pull the trigger. That's not a bad price. Of course, finding a pair for retail is gonna be very difficult, but if you can, go for it. Again though, if you do wanna grab this shoe for resale, I've made sure to link it through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen, along with all of the other colorways that you can grab. But hey, if you made it to this point in the video, let me me know in the comment section down below what you think of the Nike ReactX Rejuve8s, whether you have a pair, what you think of them, whether you want to get a pair. Let me know everything in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.